What is up, everybody? This is Recap or Rewind. I'm JLAG and I'm here with
NBEA.
And we are recapping and reviewing Riverdale chapter 27, and it's called The Hills Have Eyes.
I absolutely love this episode.
Did you?
I think it's gonna go down in my Riverdale history series of best episodes ever.
No way.
And you know why, right? Because it was all about the drums. It wasn't about no mafia thing, a little bit, but most of it was just a lot of their relationships. Yeah. Even the other secondary cast group came out. It
was all
so
relationship
cute.
Building.
It was
episode.
Such a cute episode. Every second I was like, oh my god, this is the cutest moment ever. Literally my notes just says cutest moment ever.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I think it was relationship heavy this episode.
Did you like it though?
I liked it, but the one thing that I will say is they centered around this secret kiss a lot.
You know what though?
I didn't realize
it.
how big of an issue.
I think it had to come out though.
But I didn't realize how big of an issue it was going to become and make this whole situation this whole episode. That's the one thing I'll say.
I mean, you had to have thought that because in the promos it was very obvious that hot tub scene was sort of a reflection of all the tension that's been built up since that case, kind of, right?
Yeah. I figured that was gonna be what it was, but when you really take a step back, you're like, oh, okay, is that really that big of a deal though?
But take it in, and it actually is a very big deal, and I'm very surprised. Very surprised.
So passionate.
Dude, your best friend kissed someone, you know what I mean? It is a big deal.
Yeah.
And the fact that Veronica was so cool about it still, I was very shocked. I was like, oh, okay, she's pretty much over it though.
Yeah.
And that sort of just led to everything else. But I freaking loved every second of this episode. I can't wait to watch it again. It was really good. I think the writing of this episode was amazing. It was funny. It was cute. It was smart. Lit. It was so lit. Yeah. I really, really liked it. Yeah.
And you like that the setting was. I like the fact that the change in the setting was nice.
They took that group at least somewhere else, and then you had the secondary cast group at the movies and stuff. Right?
I think it worked really well the way they laid it all down, because even with all the relationship building with what was happening in Riverdale, I don't think I would have wanted it in any done any other way.
You're right. Yeah.
Because the secondary characters got their time to shine without having to be everybody's in Riverdale, everyone's in the high school, everyone's doing their thing,
everyone's going to the movies. No, it doesn't. You can't do that. So it was good that they were sort of stuck in a cabin. Those are the things that happen when you're on a ski trip, or when you're in a cabin because you have nothing else to do.
It's true.
But talk about drama.
Talk about the drums and play Monopoly.
Bring your black Betty wig.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's just get right into the episode.
Yeah, let's do it.
Guys, make sure that you stay tuned to right till the end, because we're going to do our recap or roundups, and that's it. Okay, so we start off with the Cooper house, the Cooper residence, and Jughead's doing his whole narration or whatever, and he's just saying well, this is the girl who let somebody in, and and then it's just chick being weird all the time. So what did you think of this whole situation?
First of all, he's so weird.
They're making him out to be really weird though.
I feel they're trying way too hard to show his craziness.
Yeah.
So at this point I'm are you guys doing it on purpose to be throwing us off? Right. Or are you guys, no, legit, he's crazy, he's gonna kill her?
I know that there's people out there that are still thinking that he's the Black Hood, which I don't agree with at this point.
I don't think so.
But he is weird AF, and I don't know what his deal is. But anyway, we can talk about him later, because he comes through 5,000 times, and he's just really, really weird. And she's eating breakfast, and he's eating breakfast in her face, and he's using her bathroom, and he's just
lurking, and Alice was not even aroused. What are you doing, Mom?
Mommy, where are you?
Mom, keep your children in check. You can't even keep your job in check. Let alone,
she literally helped him hide a body, so I don't think that she's the one to really
spa
figure
weekend.
out what's
She's I'm going to the spa.
She's I'm checked out.
I think, but I also think what's important to know, and this is sort of it's good to remember these things. He's the actor that plays Chick has been on set up until this point even. So wherever his character goes, he's still included in the cast and in these episodes. So I don't think his character may be shady when we find out actually what happens, but I think in the end, like, he's gonna become like an actual like good character. Otherwise, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like, you know, he's still around. There's a reason, you know. Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk more about him later. So we cut to the Blossom Res, and Penelope basically gets mad at Cheryl for killing off like
not killing,
like
like,
you know, like their relationship.
Yeah, she was like, you ruined like my relationship. I was like falling in love with him. It was like the real deal. She's like, no, mom, like, you're a whore.
But then she's like, but she does say, like, she's like, you'll never know real love.
I was never, and that really hurt me. I'm like, why are you so mean to your daughter?
She calls her like, she's like, you emotionless anorexic, blah blah blah. I was like, whoa, like, who says that to her daughter?
She's like, you're a jealous, spite-filled, starving, emotional anorexic. I'm like, I was like, holy.
Where is this all coming
nice,
from,
Mom?
That's not nice at all. Like, you need to get child services like called up on you or something.
No,
like,
for real. Like, Penelope needs to go.
Like, and that's the thing. Like, I think we talked about it like way back when she like ripped up that check when it was like from the St. Clair's, and like everyone was like, come through, Penelope. I'm like, no, but she's like not coming through hard enough. Like,
it's like
she's still
a little moment
mom.
every 2 seasons. Yeah,
exactly. So I was like, yeah, it was pretty.
So what did you think about, because, you know, there's been talk about this whole CHONI storyline. So starting off this episode with a really like emotional Cheryl scene, did you sort of like think like, okay, we're going to get something at the end with Cheryl?
I think it was really predictable the way that all kind of went down. But like, here's the thing. We keep seeing these scenes with Cheryl. Like, it's been like almost the whole season where she's like sassy, and then she's like sad, sassy, sad, sassy, sad. So it's just like, okay, like, is there going to be a result to the situation? Is someone going to come through for her?
Are we going to understand her pain? Exactly.
Yeah. So that was the one thing that I was like, okay, let's just see this come through, and I'm glad it actually happened this episode.
Yeah.
So then it cuts to the Lodge Res, and this is like such a random quick shot, like where they like hired Mark Consuelos for like 5 minutes of the episode.
They had to just set it up.
And he was like, oh, sucks, I can't go to the lodge this weekend. Hey guys, why don't you go to the lodge this weekend? Hey guys, why don't you just like go with everybody? Like, it was just a random...
Take your friends and go. It's a safe place. You'll always be safe there. I'm like, okay, well, they're not going to be safe now that you've said that.
Now that you've said it. It just sounded so obvious that he was like getting them out of Riverdale.
Yeah.
So,
and Veronica's like, okay, Dad, I'm down.
She's like, sweet, Daddy, thanks.
He's like, my daughter's so dumb.
And he's like, Archie, you're the smart one apparently in this relationship now. Come through. And then he like went and asked him to like go to a study with him, and he's basically like, listen, we're doing this like crazy meeting because Papa Poutine got killed, so like everybody needs to like reconvene and like talk about stuff, so we need her out of like
first of all
the town.
If my boyfriend walked away with my dad and my dad was like, let me just talk to what? No, why are you having private conversations with my boyfriend and I'm right here? Like, I should at least be there with you guys. Like it's
just
so awkward.
Wait for her to leave, like go to school first or something.
Or like wait for like, you know, like Hermione to be like, Mija, come for a sec, and then he like calls Archie over, but like he's so obvious, like this is only a man conversation. Come here, like
men only. Yeah, it was weird. And so anyway, he just says like, go to this lodge, I need her away, but Andre's gonna be on staff, like on call, so like you better like just like keep it there. But like Veronica made it very clear that she didn't want anybody supervising them, so he's like don't tell Veronica,
don't tell her.
I love that they keep making them have these like ridiculous secrets. Like, this is a stupid secret in my opinion. But I was like, okay, fine, whatever. He's like, can you keep this secret from my daughter? And she's
like okay, you have a chaperone, big effing deal. The house is like, trying to say. House is like 20,000 square feet. Like, he can sit in a corner. It's fine.
Exactly. And they could have like definitely just like been okay with it, but instead they had to make it an issue for both of them. Like breaking. She's like,
I can't bother to have a chaperone with me.
Yeah, I'm like, you're like a 16-year-old girl. You probably should. I mean, I would want one. Like, fuck, it doesn't hurt. So anyway,
it doesn't hurt.
So then Archie's like, true, okay, fine, I got you.
Like, and that's the thing, right? Like, Hiram knows exactly what to say to get Archie on his side. As soon as he says, we have to protect Veronica. This is for Veronica's safety. Like, there's going to be Andre there. He's like, okay, cool. I'll protect her and I won't even tell her.
Right.
Like, that's the perfect way to get into Archie's head.
Yeah, exactly. So then it cuts to Jughead and his papa, FP, and they're like kind of like cheesed about the whole trailer park situation because they're still like out of rent money or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like cheese. And so then Jughead's kind of just like, I need another angle because like Hiram is definitely like doing something shady in Riverdale. I'm not really sure what it is, but I'm gonna have to investigate more. And that was the end of that sequence. And FP's like, I don't even know what you're doing anymore with your life. Like, he's just like so weird about it.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Kevin and Moose, and they're in school. So then I thought this was a cute moment until the end of the episode, but Moose like comes up to Kevin, and Kevin's just like chilling, and he's like, hey, what are you doing this weekend, or what are you doing tomorrow? And he's like, I'm going to watch this movie, Love, Simon, which I guess is in theaters now, guys, if you just wanted to know. Like, Riverdale is basically like a commercial for Love, Simon.
Is it actually?
Yeah, it's an actual movie. Yeah.
So they actually plugged a real movie?
They plugged a real movie.
Oh my God,
sure.
That's ridiculous, guys.
Here's the thing. I'm not gonna like hate on it because like it is like a good movie for the generation, but like they definitely like made the connection and they're like, yo, watch this movie.
Oh my God, I didn't know. I thought it was like an older movie or something.
No, it's like it's in theaters now, literally.
And then I saw Jennifer Garner and I'm like, oh, I guess she's in it too. Wow,
From Time.
guys. Wow.
So anyway, he's gonna go watch this coming out movie, and Moose is like, why don't you come with me and Midge? And Kevin's like, what? And
yeah, he's just like weirded out. He's like, no.
And then Midge is, or no, Moose is like, yeah, she's fine. She like knows about us. And Kevin's like, I think that's a little too like polyamorous for me, so I'm just gonna like dip. His face was so funny. He was like, I'm good.
Yeah, he's like, how about no?
How about pass on that, but thanks. And then it cuts to the student lounge, and everyone's just talking. They're like, okay, we're gonna go to this lodge, it's gonna be amazing.
Like, everyone's
and
down,
Betty's all
cool.
like lit or whatever, and then Cheryl out of nowhere is like, oh guys, like, what's this like party going on?
She's like, I heard
too.
luxury and weekend and my name is all over it. And they're like, no bitch, you're not coming. And she's like,
yeah.
oh.
Veronica's like, couples allowed only. I was like, that's kind of tight to say to Cheryl, who you know has never had a date like ever on the show ever.
Like, again, the house is a massive cabin. Like, just invite your girl. What's the big deal?
It was kind of tight. I thought it was pretty tight, but also she's not a part of the core four. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like sucks.
Yeah, like peep the secondary cast group phone lurk because it's all about that.
On our Instagram,
oh my God.
Yeah, it's so funny. So
yeah, so she basically gets rejected, guys. Like, again, my heart was like, oh, and she literally like backtracks out of the student lounge.
They like pushed.
So
they really pushed her like whole situation. Like kept pushing her like into this situation.
But
where
I have to say,
lonely.
like, between Josie, Kevin, and Cheryl, they did such an amazing job with sort of intertwining all those three characters and their stories, plus focusing on the whole lodge cabin drama. Like, it was a very jam-packed episode.
They definitely juggled it perfectly, in my opinion. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, why are we cutting back to this now?
Yeah.
I will say the Mayor McCoy stuff, I was like, ooh.
No, but I was just thinking that too, and I was like, no, but then it didn't make sense because
the way
his
it resolved,
and Josie's like storylines, they do merge, right?
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. But they do resolve each other eventually. But like in the beginning, I was just like, Sierra, just go on like a vacation.
Like, just go screw him. Like, whatever. Yeah. Nobody cares.
Anyway, so it cuts to Jughead and Betty, and like they just like run into like the register really quickly, or not the register, like the little,
like their
room.
office. Yeah.
And Jughead's like, I'm so excited, and then Betty's like, but why are you so excited?
Yeah.
I feel a little suspicious. What's going on? And he just admits and says like, I'm trying to investigate Veronica because like all this stuff is gonna happen.
Yeah.
And Betty's like, listen, I don't want that kind of weekend. Like, can we just like take it easy for this weekend? Chick is like driving me crazy. I just need to like get out of the house. And Jughead's like, I promise I'm never gonna do that. And then she's like, okay, thanks. And then it cuts to like them at like the Cooper residence, and he's like picking up
like,
Betty,
picking up clothes or whatever.
And so he like looks up the like staircase, and then he turns, and Chick is just standing there in his
they're
clothes.
just making Chick look very crazy.
They're
all
making him look
the shots and stuff, like it's very just creepy angles.
Like
and,
they're really
lighting.
like they honestly are really pushing the fact that he looks like cray cray. Like I think that it's a little too extra, and I don't know why they gotta do it that way, but like, that's the thing. I think his storyline is going to be like, I was an emotionally damaged child because I was like put through the foster care home. I never had a house. Yeah. And like, that's really like why he's like so weird. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's doing anything diabolical. He's just like, he's got mommy issues and like he has like abandonment issues.
I agree.
But do you have to make him look that much crazier? Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's going to be the only resolve in his storyline, like he isn't actually like a criminal or crazy, then do you have to make him seem that weird right away? I mean, I guess so. Yeah.
Anyways, so basically in that moment, Jughead gets to finally meet Chick, right? And Jughead's like, oh god, like he is creepy, like he's weird for sure. But what does Chick say to Jughead? I missed it. He was like, don't hurt her or something. Oh, he says something to him.
Who, Jughead?
No, Chick says something to Jug.
No, so he says, do you know what happened here? And then Jughead's like, he's like, okay. And then he's like, if you ever tell anybody, it'll be bad for Betty and Alice. And then that's when Betty comes down the stairs. And then you're like, what the fuck just happened? So like, weird. Jughead is just like really weirded out about the whole situation. And then he leaves. Here are the parts that like I really get annoyed by when it comes to this show. How come we never get a car scene? Like, you know, you're driving her. Like, we never get like a car scene. True. Like, we never see them driving away, or like those moments where you see them like actually like talking about like what just happened. You know what I mean? Like, why wasn't he like, well, I don't think Chick is like, I just met Chick, he's kind of weird. No,
I don't think they even have a car. Like, Juggy has a motorcycle. I don't even know what car she drives. Fair enough. Then that next scene was a car scene, actually, because they're like driving to the cabin.
Right. But that's what I'm trying to say. All these like intermediate scenes, like you're telling me they're just sitting in silence the entire time. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, you guys have these moments. Like, why couldn't you just have the moments like in an actual private situation? Yeah. Anyway, that's just like logistics. So we get to the Lodge, and they all arrive, and Andre's just like, I think it was supposed to be like a funny sequence, because she's like, or Veronica's like, grab all the things, Archie, and then he like grabs like literally like 10 bags of stuff, and he's carrying them like an idiot, and so they all walk in, and Archie has to like kind of lurk a little bit longer, and Andre's like, call me, beep me if you want to reach me, like if like something happens, just like call me. I'm gonna be like I'm just gonna be sitting in the woods for like the next 2 days, basically. And then Archie's like, cool, bye. So then like he walks in, and it's a really nice, gigantic, big ass house. Yeah, like it's really nice. Yeah. And so, then go ahead.
So I think this is when he gets a call, right?
Yeah. So like they're just like settling in, and then Jughead gets a call from Cheryl. And she like lays it down like right off the top.
This threw me off like so hard. So fast. Because I think I totally forgot that he didn't know yet. Right. And I totally forgot that she was still holding this information, or like she had it. Because originally she never used it, right? She kind of just said like, hey, by the way, like you should tell your like whatever, you know? Right. She didn't use it against anyone. Mm-hmm. Now she like calls him up in like 5 seconds, and she's like, by the way, Daddy kissed Archie.
She's like, I saw them, they used tongue. Bye. Like, it was so extra.
It was so extra. And he's like, kind of like, what the hell?
Jughead gets sad. And then like, so before they like go back to Jughead, it like cuts to commercial break, I guess. And then it cuts to like Tony and Cheryl having their conversation. I love the way they did that.
Did you like that? How like it sort of continued from Cheryl's side.
Like it doubled back. Yeah. Like it showed Jughead's reaction, and then it went back to like her hanging up the phone, and then Tony coming out of the stall, like in the bathroom. Yeah.
And Tony's like, why did you just call Jughead? Did you just tell him?
Right.
Bitch, and then, what are you doing?
Yeah, basically Tony's just like, what's wrong with you, bitch? Like what's going on in your life? Like, why are you so angry about everybody right now?
And in that moment, I think Tony's trying to come in on, not that she's coming on, but like she's trying to support her and be like, girl, like don't worry, like whatever. And Cheryl's like, shut up, like I hate you, like don't touch me, like whatever.
Yeah, she like totally like
just like smacks
crazy.
Her away.
Yeah, she was like, get your filthy serpent hands off of me, you disgusting. Anyway, I don't know.
She's basically her mother in that scene, basically.
Right. True. Anyway, so she gets pissed, and the entire time Tony's like, I'm gonna get you, girl.
Yeah, Tony's face is so like determined. She's like,
full outside.
I'm gonna come back later though.
She's like, I'm gonna crack your nut. I'm just gonna figure you out. Like that's the one thing. Okay, that's the one thing that I will say. Is like, what is Tony's real motivator in this whole storyline? You know what I mean? Like, other than the fact that she wants to be like a supportive like female, like is her character just like super supportive? Like, is she feeling? I think she feels
for
like,
her. No, I don't know if like I don't know. I feel like right now I think she just feels for her, that she's like a really sad and lonely like person, and maybe Tony's the same way. Like maybe who knows Tony's like backstory? Like all we know is that she has like a grandpa. So like maybe she doesn't have parents, like she doesn't have a family, so like she's lonely too.
I mean,
so,
I guess we'll see that side of her.
Yeah, eventually. I'm sure they're gonna show it. So like maybe that's like their common, like thing is that like she sees her and she's like, don't be lonely, like don't worry.
True. Anyway, so then that cuts to Veronica and Archie, and they're back. Like we're back in the cabin, and I can't even say cabin, like lodge, like literally like it's like a gigantic chalet. And Veronica and Archie are talking in their room, and they're like, well, do you think that they're gonna break up because of this situation?
He's like, this is gonna be like the 12th time this year if they break up. Yeah, like the lines were just on point this episode. Yeah, really, I was cracking up.
So then she's like, Veronica's like, I'm so happy that we're like perfect and we're so good together. And then we get like a full out like makeout scene.
Did she annoy you this episode?
Veronica?
Yeah.
She really did.
Yeah, she really annoyed me.
She really bugged me.
And I'm honestly very worried that they're gonna make her character, or they're already making her character very unlikable. Like, there's moments where I'm like, her jokes just like sting, but like not in a good way. And she sounds like very ignorant sometimes. Like,
here's
I don't know.
Thing. I feel like she's playing Veronica Lodge like perfectly. I think that is Veronica Lodge. Like when I see what she does and how she says things, and like it's all the little tiny nuances. And it came through a lot more in this episode because she's like, welcome to my land, Archie, get the bags. Like she was in control of the whole situation.
Wow. She was like, Archie, grab the bag. I was like, holy
exactly
crap.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, we know Veronica Lodge to be that woman who's like privileged and like she's rich and like whatever. So I think that regardless, she's always gonna have this like high society kind of attitude toward.
But
like,
does it make you like her less?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I think that, I mean, you have to learn to love Veronica because I think she's got an amazing aspects of her. And I think that in the first season and like maybe the first half of this season, we saw her being like sassy and protective of her family and like protective of the people that she loves and cares about, and like sleuthing with Veronica or Betty. So like we saw all these like fun sides of Veronica, but now we're seeing like the other side, which is like the privileged girl who like grew up rich and like her daddy's home and like everything's good, and it shows that like she comes from a different pedigree, right? And I think that's just the reality of her character and the reality of like the core four is like dynamic. So
anyways, so they start like making out, whatever.
They start making out on the bed, and then it cuts to Bughead, like Jughead
discussing
and Betty,
the kiss,
and they're like, can we just talk about the situation? And like Jughead asks her straight up, like, did you not tell me because it's Archie? Like, it's just because like he's my like weakness or whatever. And she's like, yeah, kinda. And then he's like, you know what? That might have bothered me before, but like right now we're good. Like we're fine.
He's like, we've been through so much this year. He's like, so I'm not worried. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Like if you're saying that it was nothing and it was just like a black hood prompted kiss, then it's fine. Like I'm good with it. And then like before,
so then they start making out, and then like
before they could even finish, you hear the bed squeaking.
Honestly, I couldn't with the creaking
bed. Squeaking, I was dead.
The sound effects was dying. I was like, are they really doing this right now? I was like, it wasn't just like a regular like sound. It was just like, it was like dish.
It was very like sound effecty.
Dish. Like you could literally know like the rhythm of like their sex. Like I was like, this is so
I love how, and Jughead, like right when they hear it, they start giggling, and Jughead's like, can't they ever just have a conversation? Like why do they have to go to that every time?
Yeah, like why do they have to solve everything all the time?
I loved it. The writing was so good.
It was good.
And then it cuts to Veronica's margaritas.
Oh my god, she's like, let's have some jalapeno margaritas, guys. And Jughead's just like going in, essentially. He's basically just like, what's popping with you?
He's never sounded so confident, and I was like very like excited about that.
I mean, I feel like I've seen him like confident when he is sleuthing, but he like was being obviously way too obvious because Betty books him right away. But it was kind of sexy
on the low key, because I was like, oh damn,
you were feeling it.
Yeah, he was like coming through hard, and then Betty's like, yo, chill, like don't do that.
Relax. And yeah, so then basically she's like, she's trying to answer all these questions, but like slowly but surely, like it sounds more sketchy. And Betty starts to be like, Jughead, can you like relax, like stop asking all these questions?
Yeah.
And Veronica's thinking that it's like because they're still having like drama
like
between
fighting.
the two of them. And I'm like, Veronica does not have good intuition when it comes to certain situations.
She's like, guys, I know there's tension.
It's, you know what's funny? I feel like she does this a lot. Like she thinks that she can just like cover things up with like money or fun.
Well, that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like she's like, now let's go into the hot tub.
Like, let's distract ourselves because this is not a real issue. But she doesn't even see that they're trying to like go in on her family.
Yeah.
Anyway,
exactly.
so
no, but that's a good point that you're making because I think that is her too.
Yeah.
Like she's not even seeing what they're fighting about. Like
so
they're fighting about her.
Right.
She's like, no, I know. You're just cheese about the Cheryl thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then her solution is like, come together. Let's like go to the hot tub.
And like,
so like in that particular
rich.
regard, like while I think that she's an annoying character, they do write her well. Like
they write, yeah.
I mean, they write her well, minus like the crazy ass lines that they make her say.
It's true, but I feel like that's still her. You know,
it's true.
Like
I
she
mean,
would
now
say
it
that.
is her. Now it is a part of her. Anyway, so then it cuts to the hot tub.
The hot tub scene. Like, everyone's been waiting for.
Yeah, literally.
Guys,
all
like
of the Riverdale fandom has been waiting for this moment like their entire lives.
They've literally analyzed that hot tub like 3-second scene, like frame by frame,
like, play
over
by
the
play.
last
They
4
have
weeks.
had like zoom in shots of Archie's face, like in the background, like everything. They're like, "Where's Betty?
Yeah, where's
like,
Betty? Why is she not in that?" Like, but they're so smart, eh? Like the editors of that trailer too. Like they're not showing Betty in the hot tub. They're only showing the 3 of them.
Right.
Like they
so
cropped
you're
her
like,
out.
What's going on?
I'm like, you guys are so smart.
You guys are so
smart.
So smart.
So it was a really good scene. I really liked it.
So anyway, it is one of the things that we had theorized, like, you know, like we all kiss, so like why don't we just kiss together? So that's what she says. Like she's like, is everybody still cheesy about that kiss? Like,
yeah,
Jughead,
like it's not
why
a
don't
big
we
deal.
just
let's just kiss and then like be done with it.
Yeah.
And then I think right away Jughead's like, I'm down.
It was so like I like the sequence. It was really funny because Jughead like because Archie's like, no, I don't think that's a good idea. And Jughead's
Archie
like,
was
hold
sketching
up.
out. Yeah. Jughead's like, no, I'm down for that kiss.
Let's level the playing field. Yeah. Let's do this. And then he's like, I think a Bughead kiss might like help us in the future. Like he said some like weird storyline.
He said some really cool thing. He's like, future me might be mad at future you for that kiss.
Yeah.
Like,
so why don't we just squash it now?
Let's just do it now. We're on like we're all equals and like we'll be good, whatever.
Right.
What did you think about Betty's whole like position in that moment? Because she really didn't say much.
I mean, at that point in time, I think she just had to sit and wait, and so did Archie. Like Archie couldn't be like, no,
but
so
Archie
cool.
Archie was way more upset than Betty was. Betty
like his face
was sitting back, sipping on her margarita. She did not feel no ways. She was like watching it. I think she was like excited.
I don't.
But
think
Archie
she felt
was like
some ways. I mean, okay, so maybe the reason why is because she probably feels in a sense that when the Bughead kiss, no, not the Bughead kiss, the BARCHIE kiss was like her doing. Do you know what I mean?
But so should Archie feel the same way? Like, well, he kissed her too.
He kissed her too, but like it's that whole question of like who went in first. You know what I mean? So maybe in this particular situation, Archie's feeling some type of way about Veronica, but because it was Betty who kind of initiated that initial
maybe,
kiss.
But I also feel like there's almost like a sinister thing inside of Betty where she's down to see that dynamic play out in front of her, whereas Archie's like, no, keep it safe. No, I'm not down for this. No, you can't like kiss her. Like she's my girlfriend, you know? Like, whereas Betty kind of looked like she was like kind of being coy and like she was like down to see it. Because she didn't say much in that moment. And I was like, okay, that's kind of interesting. She was just like Merp.
I literally wrote down Betty
literally
like Merp.
sipping on her drink. Like she was sipping on it. She was just enjoying like the entertainment.
So then Veronica and them kiss. And
what did you think about the kiss?
I thought it was cute.
So there was no tongue. It was just a long kiss. It was kind of like meh, like nothing. Yeah. But do you think there's ever gonna be a Bughead?
A Bughead?
Yeah.
It was such a quick moment, and it happened so fast that I don't know. I can't even be conclusive about it. I know that a lot of people are like, they're like the lowest of the rank in terms of that connection happening. But like, I'm not gonna like totally knock it out. They're not ugly people. I don't see it ever never happening. Like, you know, I can see it happening for sure. But would I be down for it? I don't know. I don't know what their chemistry is like. Like, Yeah.
Veronica and Jughead remind me of the entire Pacey and Joey dynamic in Dawson's Creek.
Okay.
Because I feel like you never saw them, at least for me when I was watching it, I was so young. So like I never saw that coming. It was always like Dawson and Joey. I never saw Pacey and Joey happening. And then when it happened, you're like, true, like this totally worked. Like they're like so alike. So I kind of find that like that may happen with Jughead and Veronica down the line, like maybe like some seasons from now. And we have talked about the fact that like in many senses, but Jughead and Veronica are very similar. Yeah,
like, they're both very, very loyal to their families. They'll do whatever it takes. They know how to sleuth. They're very like shady about like not shady, but like they're always like investigating and figuring things out. Like they have a lot of elements of each other that are similar, so I can see it happening.
For sure. Maybe
down
like later on when they're like in college or something,
like season 7 or something.
Yeah, exactly. But otherwise the kiss was like whatever, they kissed and then that was done.
And like that's the thing, it happened so fast. Like there was no like extra couple minutes after the kiss happened, like in the hot tub. The kiss happened, she just like pecks him on the lips, and then like she like smiles, and then like it cuts to the next scene. Like it doesn't continue from there. Like it doesn't show like Archie like standing up or getting out of the hot tub or anything. So like it just like leaves us with that moment. And then it cuts to them like getting changed out of their like wet clothes, and it's Jughead and Betty, and Betty's like, did you know that out of the 4 of us, only you and Archie haven't kissed yet? And then
I love this.
I totally forgot that I was like, true, you guys did make out in the first episode.
I'm like, oh yeah, pilot.
Yeah. And then Jughead's like, but what? Like he's like,
you and Veronica? She's like,
and she's like, don't worry about it. And then she like goes into the bathroom, and then she's like, so did you guys like, did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the kiss? And then Jughead's like, what are you trying to say? And then she like opens up the door, and like some sexy music comes on, and she's like Dark Betty now with like the wig and everything. Yeah. And she's like, because if you did, I'm gonna have to punish you.
So what really shocked me about this scene, and I loved it, but I thought Jughead would get sketched out. Like, I thought he was going to be like, oh, Betty, like, what are you doing? Like, this is weird, Yeah. But, like, Mans was totally down. He grabbed her and, like, pulled her on the bed. I'm like, oh, my God. Jughead needs to, like, come to the cabin more often because he's, like, really hot right now.
Horned up.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really funny. I guess we can talk about it now, but, like, they recap, like, Veronica and Betty recap later, like, the next morning or whatever, and she says to her, like, when did that happen? Like, when you guys were, like, having sexy times or whatever, and she's like, it literally happened at confirmation, so, like, 2 episodes ago.
So, after, like, that Black Betty part happens, they go onto the bed, then it cuts to the Veronica and Archie in their room, and I'm like, oh, they're probably like smashing too, but they're not. It's Archie like doing push-ups.
He's like,
and this was an interesting moment too, because Veronica's like, okay, like, yeah, you're turning me on right now, but like, come, like do me right now in the bed. And he's like, no, I'm tired.
And then she's like,
what's wrong with him? Why is he like cheese? Like, why is he being crusty?
I guess he's okay, but see,
so he's feeling some type of way.
Yeah.
So then,
and then like in that moment, they hear the same creaking like sound effects.
They hear like, Bughead going at it, and
I'm like, do these beds need like a freaking like they need like an oil change or something? Because like all of the beds are creaking up in here.
And they take it 2 very different ways. Veronica is so lit for her friend. She's like, oh my God, my friend just got it in. Like, so sick. When did this happen? And Archie can't even listen. He's so upset.
He's like, close the door.
Yeah, he like puts the pillow over his head. He's like, I'm going to sleep. Like, I was like, yo, he's feeling some type of way though.
Well, here's the problem with Archie. He's always like girl crazy, and he always just like wants everybody to like love him.
I think that's what it is. Right? I think he's always assumed that Betty kind of had her eyes on him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden this shit's happening with Jughead, and they're doing it now too.
Yeah. They doing it.
They doing it. And he can't handle it. And it's a very interesting thing to see him go through, because Betty feels no way either. She's like pretty much over it.
Right.
And she's like moving on to her man. So like,
she's like moving on.
It's only Archie that's sort of like stuck in that moment. Get
over yourself, Archie.
But he can't, because he love her. He love her.
So then it cuts to the next morning, and Archie's chopping wood.
Yeah, he's literally, guys, he's so frustrated. He didn't like sleep with Veronica last night.
Yeah.
He's so frustrated about the Betty thing that he has to chop wood.
Frustrated. Yeah. He's chopping wood, and it was like kind of a hot scene.
Oh my God. I could not even really look at his jeans because I was like, I can't look down.
I was like,
his jeans were like, he just looked
predator.
so good. He just looked really like the whole lumberjack vibe, forest vibe, like servant man cutting wood. Like,
felt it good.
He just like pulls it off.
Okay, let's stop now. And so then Veronica is watching him from like the outside, and she's like, oh, so cute, he's like chopping wood or whatever. And then she sees him get a phone call, and then he like runs into the woods.
Okay, but how ridiculous was it? Because he literally like looks back to her, and he doesn't even see her. She's like, I'm here.
She's wearing like a sapphire blue like
a recycle blue like freaking like recycle bin blue like dress. Like, how does he not see her?
He's such a dope. So then he does. Like, that's the thing. He takes his phone call. He doesn't even look around for a second, and then dips into the freaking woods like a weirdo. So anyway, obviously she's like, what's going on here? So then she like follows him, and sure enough, he's like catching up with Andre. This is the one part that I didn't really understand. It's like, why did he have to talk to Andre in person? Like, just talk on the phone. Him? I think he was just like, yo, Hiram Lodge, yo, wink. Like, nothing. There was nothing. There was no reason for them to meet. That's what I'm trying to say. The only reason why they would see each other is if like he was passing him a gun or like something. There was nothing. There was no reason for them.
There was no reason for that meet. Yeah, for sure.
Except for Veronica to like catch him,
see it. Yeah, I mean? And she does, and she's like, "Who are you? What are you doing?" And then she sees that Andre's still there, and then she's like really upset. She's like, "Get the F out of here! I don't want any."
But honestly, she's right. Like, why is Andre so high key about like being freaking like hidden in the woods? Like, why did
all you had to do was text Archie, "I'm still here. I'm protecting you guys. Don't worry." Like,
he's like, come into the woods with me and just talk and say, hey, like, what are you doing here? So anyway, so she gets pissed off, and she was like, you go home now, because like you suck. And Archie, like, we're gonna go to like to town together, and
me and Betty are gonna go into town, and you can stay here with Jughead and figure out your testosterone shit.
Yeah, because you're fucking annoying me right now. And then it cuts to Sheriff Tom and Sierra. Hey,
Sierra girl.
And they're just like flirting up a storm.
They're so like hornified. So there's a sequence of them that just like touching each other and laughing, and Josie comes in through the door, and she's like, what the fuck is happening? So then he leaves, and then they just have a full conversation. He's like, well, gotta go to work now. I'm like, yeah, you need to go to work.
Like,
you have a job.
Yeah.
So do you, Mayor McCoy.
But like, not really. She's like done now.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, she stepped down. So then Josie's like, this is weird.
She's like, Mom, this is really weird, but like, whatever. Like, Dad doesn't know.
Does Dad even know? And then she's like,
and then
I done told your dad.
Yeah.
And
then that's when it hits Josie, because she's like, wait, like, if Dad knows, that means you guys are getting a divorce. And then she starts like sketching out.
She's like, you're doing this because of Sheriff Tom Keller. She's like, she just gets really, really pissed off about everything.
And Sarah's like, have you seen his body? Yeah, girl, I'm gonna leave your dad for that body.
Like, I'm gonna leave your dad for every part of that muscle. Yeah, I would do it too. So then he basically says like, or no, she says to Josie, like, even though your dad knows, low key, we were gonna wait for you to graduate or whatever to get through, but his wife doesn't know, and neither does Kevin. So like, we need to respect that, and it's like a really complicated situation. I really think that in this particular situation, Mayor McCoy should have, not even Mayor McCoy, Sierra McCoy, should have at least like reassured her a little bit more, because I think that's a pretty dire situation to like lay on your teenage daughter, to be like, keep the secret from one of your like classmate friends, and like, it's a really serious situation if you do tell him. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Anyway, so obviously
it just had to come out. Like,
yeah, I was like, that was obviously the lead up for Josie to talk to Jen to come about it later. I was like, because Sierra did not do a good job to like make sure that didn't happen. And like, that's what I mean. This whole like affair became so sloppy. Like, what was the point?
It started off with like a really cool like vibe, because we thought he might have been the Black Hood. Don't forget, right? At that time, so there was a bit more of an intrigue to the story. But now it's just like girl, you're getting it in. Go do your thing. Live your life. And so now we just wanted to come out and like let them be together.
Yeah, just like go to like the shops together and like be together like publicly, whatever. So anyway, so that happens, and then it cuts to Jughead and Archie in the woods. I like this little scene too.
Yeah, it was
really cute, like this like little like bromance sequence. So Jughead's like, did you know that Betty and Veronica kissed before? And he's like, that's crazy. And then they just squash the whole kiss conversation about like who kissed who and whatever.
Yeah.
And he says this like really cute best friend conversation thing where he's like, it is a complicated situation. He's like, your friend is my friend and my friend is your friend. Like it was really cute. Like
Archie's like, I don't know what that means.
He's like glitching out.
He can't process it because it's so dumb. He's like, you lost me at friend. Like the first friend.
And so he's like, so Jughead says it's like all of us are in a powder keg, one match, and all of us will blow up. I'm like, maybe that's not the best analogy.
Like turn it down a little bit.
Couldn't you say like it's like all of us are in like the best world ever, and like if one of us like disappeared, then we would all be sad. Like no, you're like we're all gonna blow up if one of us like are together in the same situation. Like I don't think that was appropriate, but whatever. So then it cuts to Kevin and Josie. So she doesn't even waste no time. She just like goes right up to him and she was like, yo, your dad is fucking my mom. So like it was a really quick scene. And then it cuts to Kevin and his dad just like being like, yo, I can't believe you're doing this to like mom. And I can't believe you're like lying to me. I was looking up to you all this time. And then he like disappears. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to Betty and Veronica, and they're at the convenience store in town.
Yeah.
And they're just like talking or whatever, and like Veronica like goes in and asks like Betty about like their like sexual relationship, and she's like, yeah, like Dark Betty comes through sometimes too. Oh no, that doesn't happen till later. But like, yeah, she basically like.
I was kind of down to like on the side as a side note. I was kind of down to see like Veronica in like Uggs and like sweats. I'm like, girl, like chill, like put your chill clothes on. You're going to the cabin. No, this bitch is like in 6-inch heels still with like her like freaking fur coat and like her collared shirts.
And I'm hey, like, that's the reason why like she got in trouble at the end of the episode, right?
Yeah.
So like the store owner is basically like flirting with her and talking, and she was like, "Do you have those scones from the summertime or whatever?"
They were delish.
And
he's like, yeah, my mom. Like they were just flirting.
Yeah.
But at that point, he's like, oh, I recognize you. Like your house is on that street, right? She goes, yeah. She goes, we're from New York. Oh wait, no, not New York. Riverdale.
We're in Riverdale. But like my parents aren't here, so like you can come through for whenever.
Yeah,
like
she's
basically
like being
you're telling him the address of your place. Like you're being so stupid.
And then he was like, he made a really funny comment. He's like, oh, Riverdale. He's like, that hick town. I was like, what are you? You're like a worse like, town than Riverdale.
You're in a place called Shadow Lake, so maybe you should shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like who's stalking Cassidy?
That's so true. So anyway, so
they flirt, and then Betty's like, chill, like stop flirting, okay? Like you and Archie aren't over. Yeah. Like, you had like one fight.
Yeah, seriously. So she's like, I still have my sexual prowess. I'm gonna leave now. So then she leaves, and then they talk about like Dark Betty coming through, and she's like, oh my god, Betty, like what the hell? And she's like, yeah.
Is that where she says like
make them both sound
yeah is that where she says like remember the hot tub?
Yeah.
Is that where she
like died. After they leave
she's like, oh,
she's like, ooh, sexy. So then they get back, and then Veronica and Archie like basically make up. He's like, are you mad at me still? And she's like, yeah, I am. But
she's like yeah, but like here are my terms for being my boyfriend. Once again, sign a contract.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they're basically good.
Right. And then Jughead gets a call from his papa, FP.
Yeah.
And he's like, yo, we're lit up in here. Like, we're celebrating because...
But right before he gets the call, this is like one of my best lines. That's why I'm saying it. Betty was like over the phone call already. She's like, if that's Cheryl, tell her everyone kiss everyone and it's over.
Yeah.
I was like, it's so true. Yo, these lines were
that
killing
storyline
me.
is done now.
Yeah,
let's move on.
Chill, Cheryl, like calm down. But it wasn't Cheryl, it was FP.
Yeah. And then he's like so lit. He's like, yo, we're like all coming through. Like we got the place, and like Hiram like basically bought all of the trailers, and we're super happy now.
Okay, like the Serpents need to get jobs because like I'm over this.
So
he's like, we're all here, son, having like beer and drinking.
So then Jughead gets off the phone and he gets like really angry at Veronica, and then he's like, did you know that your dad was gonna buy the trailer park? And Archie's like, yo, what's your problem? Like, you have all your bills are paid, like what's the big deal? And like, I don't know, like, so he keeps fighting with everybody, and even Betty's like,
Jughead is just like, I don't believe that your dad is doing this just for like just whatever. To, like, he's doing it because he wants to like own the whole town, and he's doing something. He's very tactical, and Veronica's like, whatever, like shut up.
Yeah, and so does Betty. Betty's like, they have a good point, just like relax. I wrote down, is he wrong to be paranoid? But like, obviously he is. Look, he isn't. He's being paranoid because of like
being paranoid, and you're a 16-year-old kid at a cottage with your girlfriend and friends. Go have fun. Like, don't like bring the dad drama into this like situation.
Like, my question is like, what are you gonna do? Yeah, exactly. You guys are away for a weekend. Like, what are you gonna do right now in this situation? And what are you gonna do when you get back to Riverdale? Nothing. You can't do anything. You're a 16-year-old boy. Like, I don't understand why he's the one who's like figuring all these things out. Like, even FP's like, yo, let's get lit. Like, even he could be like, yo, like, this is sketchy. Like, the serpents are gonna investigate later. You know what I mean? Like, he could have been the one to like bring it forward, but like, if he doesn't care, then why do you care? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it cuts to Josie and Sierra, and Sierra's like, Josie, you bitch. Like,
she's like, what did you tell Sheriff Keller? He's so stressed out, he won't even smash me now. And she's like, sorry, Mom.
Basically. And she's like, I wasn't trying to hurt anybody, but like, you know, it just like came through. And then
it was interesting that Josie said that, because I felt like it was a very much like a Cheryl thing to say too.
Right.
Whereas like Cheryl, I feel like she doesn't mean to hurt anyone.
It just happens.
But somehow she's just doing it still. Right. Yeah.
I mean,
they were all going through that, I feel like.
Yeah, I think that Josie was doing whatever she could do, but like at the same time, like she was hurt, you know? Like what else is she gonna do? She has to like reach out and do whatever, and so that's why she told Kevin. But like Sierra doesn't even like say like, don't worry, we gotta figure this out together.
Yeah, the moms are just whack.
She just like runs away from her daughter, who's like feeling some type of way about this whole situation right now. That's the part that I don't get. Yeah, like the moms are not supportive people. Like, if I could rank them as supportive, like none of them make the list.
Yeah, no.
Like, so then it cuts to Kevin. Poor Kevin. I honestly loved his, like, finally, guys, the writers finally came through with his like, his sequences this episode.
Yeah. But like, do you see what happens? Like, do you see what happens when we're not chasing murderers and we're not shooting murderers?
Yes.
Like you really get these amazing character moments for everyone, not just the core four. Like Kevin's storyline, Josie, Cheryl, like there was like so many amazing real like character moments. I loved it.
I agree. So anyway, he's at Pop's by himself. He's eating a burger before he goes to the movie, and Moose and Midge come through, and she's like, why are you sitting by yourself? Why don't you come sit with us?
So what do you think about her as a character, just like before we get into this?
Well, first of all, and like no shit against her, but like her hair looks like fake AF. And like it was I'm not joking, like I wouldn't say it if it wasn't bothering the shit out of me the entire time. Like I was like is
her hair like that in the comics? Is that why they did it like that?
But I was just like, but if her hair's like that and it doesn't look real or right, then like, guys, I'm gonna book it. And
but also like the comics was like in the 1960s, so like change your hair.
Like change your hair up, like whatever. No, she's a new character. That's the thing.
Oh, is she?
Like she's from like the 2000s.
That's even worse.
Yeah.
I honestly I have to say, like, I really really like her character. I don't know what it is about her. Maybe it's like the actress, because she's super cute, but
she's super cute. Yeah,
I think that she's gonna be, or she has the potential to be like a really main like cool character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like she has that potential where you can like her. She's not just like Moose's annoying girlfriend, you know?
Yeah, she just got to like grow her hair out or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So then she was like, yeah, hang out and like sit with us, and then they're just talking or whatever, and then Midge is like, oh, so why don't you like hook up with one of like the serpent boys? I heard one of them is gay.
Fangs,
and the gag, so I guess it kind of confirms that he is gay.
Yeah.
And Moose is like, yeah, he kind of cute though, and Midge is like, yeah, you wouldn't even know because you're so straight though. And then that's
so is that what she meant? Like she's like, why would like she's like, you're straight?
Like, I think so that's like, I think I wrote that down, like she doesn't really know.
So she doesn't know.
So then when Moose said like, oh yeah, she knows about us, it's totally fine, like she didn't know anything. So he lied to her. Like
He lied to him. Not that
Moose
he
lied to Kevin. Yeah, he fully lied to him.
Well,
and,
he didn't lie. He said she knows about us.
Right.
But not that they hooked up, but they're just friends.
No, but like that's the thing. She's like, so how did you guys even meet? Like she didn't even know like that storyline. So like there's nothing. So like that's the thing. Like
why would he lie about that?
Because he's embarrassed. Listen,
but
as
then
a gay man, like
like,
these storylines like through and through. It's just like the way that things kind of go down. People.
But why would you even talk about Kevin in the first place then?
Because
like, you're not even hanging out with Kevin on the reg.
Because people like Moose, as cute as he is, and as much as I want them to be together, he's obviously in denial of like his own sexuality, and he just wants everything. He wants to have the girlfriend to like please everybody else, and then he wants to have the side dick literally and just like do that whole gay thing. Like it's just like he's a conflicted character, obviously. Midge,
for sure, no,
obviously.
Moose. Yeah, so Midge,
and that's why Kevin
anything.
wasn't with him, right? Like that's why Kevin didn't want to get with him. He's like, you've got like these issues. So
but at least I think when Kevin was like, okay, maybe if Moose did tell Midge, like if she knows, whatever, in that moment he came by to their booth and they sat. But as soon as Midge was like, I don't even know how you guys met, like what happened, Kevin's like, wow, like you just made everything up.
Exactly. And I felt so bad in that particular moment. I was like, poor Kevin. He like the gay man storyline in this story and like the way that they've like really like made him, I'm finally like feeling it, and it's making me feel some type of way. And I'm like, thank you for like putting this like this storyline out, because yo, being gay in a world of like heterosexuals is really hard sometimes. So anyway, so then they cut to the Blossom residence for like a quick moment, and Cheryl's in her room and she like sees her mom go like pick up some guy.
Like at this point, bottom. Like even their house looks like a whorehouse. It's like the Playboy Mansion. It looks like the Playboy Mansion from the outside. It was like red glowing lights and like vines everywhere. And she and the mom's is just like getting the D on the daily.
And Cheryl's just like, I'm done. I'm so done. She's like
over it.
She's like, I'm overseeing people from my window like making out. Like I'm out of here. So she dips. And then Josie, so then it cuts back to the movie theaters, and
so cute.
Josie bumps into Kevin in like the aisle or whatever, or like in the middle, and she was like, hey boo, I'm sorry about what I done. And
I love this scene. I love really, this scene between them two. Like I don't know if it's their chemistry or whatever. Like they are so freaking cute.
Yeah.
And what she says just felt very real. Like the way she was saying it, the words, his reaction. I was like, oh my god, they're like best friends. I freaking love them together.
Yeah. You've already said it before, but like seeing these secondary characters like have their interactions, like these are the parts of the comic books that like I would love to see, and we're seeing them now finally.
And she's basically like, I'm sorry that I told you. He's like, don't worry, like whatever, it's messed up either way. Cool, we're good.
it's all fucked up.
And then I think like they go into the movie together, right?
Yeah. And then it cuts to Cheryl and Tony, and I think Cheryl's like grabbing like some popcorn by herself, and Tony rolls in. She's like, hey bish. She's like, are you good? And Cheryl just has like a breakdown moment, and she said, I'm at the movies and I like my mom made my place a whorehouse, so basically I'm not good. No. So like it was a really
that
real
was a
moment.
very I was like, oh, like she broke my heart like 10 different times that episode. Yeah. Like her eyes were like getting red, like it looked like she was gonna cry.
Even her makeup was like turned down, like it wasn't like this like Cheryl bombshell red
and
lipstick.
You know, someone
it was like sad red.
Someone who just like 10 minutes ago was like, bitch, get away from me, don't touch me.
Right.
She's so desperate at this point that it just her whole story just comes out in front of Tony.
Yeah.
She can't even like hold it in.
Yeah.
And then Tony reacts. And she's like, what does she say?
She's just like,
let's watch a movie
together.
Everyone's
like,
lonely.
Like,
it's fine.
Yeah.
Like you're still like a good person. Don't worry. She's like, we'll watch the movie together. And she's like, okay. It was so cute. It was like, actually so cute. It was like really adorable. The way they wrote that scene and how it all felt like came together. I was like, this is the cutest thing ever.
Yeah. And then they show like a little clip of Love, Simon now in theaters.
Oh my god.
and then like it shows like Josie and Kevin together, and like everybody's just like cute in the theater.
They're, like eating chocolate. Adorable. It was like legit the cutest scene.
Really cute moment. Then it cuts to the core four, and they're playing Monopoly, and Veronica is obviously winning.
This is like basically my dream night. It was like wine and Monopoly. You know where I'm at. Like that's me.
I know, it was like red wine too. It wasn't like those.
Yeah,
it wasn't those like jalapeno drinks anymore. It was like the legit
those
like red wine.
Those margaritas looked whack though. Like it looked like aloe vera like gel in a cup. Like I was like, what kind of margarita is that? This was like nice wine. I was like, plus Monopoly.
Let's do it. So in that moment, Betty gets a phone call from her mom, and they had to like leave the situation, and they talk about Chick for like a hot second. And yeah, so Jughead's like, yo, I met Chick, and he's like really, really fucking weird.
Yeah.
And then Betty comes back right away, and she was like, so I just got off the phone with my mom, and she's freaking out because Hiram just bought the Riverdale register.
Like, your dad just bought the register?
Yeah.
And Veronica's like, I don't know.
She's like, I don't know what's going on up in here. I just like bought your Baltimore, but
yeah, I'm just winning at Monopoly. I don't know about that.
I don't know.
And then I'm like, Alice doesn't even work at the register. Why does she even care?
Why does she care?
She got fired. But then the way
she is back though.
I think she's back, or the way Betty said it, she's like, my mom is so upset. She's been calling my dad, but like he hasn't answered his phone either.
Right.
So they're thinking
Hal
that maybe
sold the
Hal
newspaper
sold
to
it.
Hiram.
Yeah.
I don't know why that went down at all, because
I wonder if Hiram knew about Penelope and Hal, and he was like, if you don't give me the register, I'm gonna tell Alice about you and Penelope.
True.
It must be that. It has to be that. Otherwise, Hal would not give up the register.
But like, how is this gonna make anything better? Like, obviously, like Alice is just gonna hate him even more.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
She's gonna be like, Hal, you're such a shove it, Hal. You're such an idiot.
I don't know.
So then, but here's the thing that I kept questioning myself. Like, all these deals are going through. How is Hiram just snatching up like things left, right, and center? There's not even a mayor in town right now. Yeah, how is he like still legally, buying stuff?
Like legally, how is this happening? And it's the weekend. Like who works on the weekend? Real talk.
So exactly. So I just like thought it was really weird, and everybody just gets pissed off at each other. So everyone just starts yelling. Like
the core four is just going at it, and
the powder keg is blowing up.
Yeah, like there was some fighting words in there. Like they were like, oh my god, Jughead called Archie stupid, basically.
Yeah, and like Betty basically called Veronica like a snake, and like she's like just a rich like privileged person who wouldn't even know what's going on.
I think the last thing was like Veronica was like, what a weirdo, you wear like a black wig to get like your kick on,
your rocks off.
I was like, oh.
And then I was like, Betty's like, you bitch.
Yeah, that was messed up though. That was like, she just told you that too, and like you were like lit for her, and then now you're like making fun of her. I was and then like, oh my god.
Archie's like, what you talking about? I want to know.
He's like, wait, what? The black wig?
I want to know. Everybody's seen Dark Betty except for him.
Yeah. Except for in our phone lyrics.
Except for in our phone lyrics.
In our phone lyrics, he does see her.
And then like while they're all yelling at each other insanely, robbers come through.
You hear like the glass breaking.
Right.
And we then had kind someone's of like, is Cheryl here?
Is Cheryl up in
kidding.
here? No.
It wasn't Cheryl.
So then they're like, yo, listen, we're going to take your wallet. Your one wallet. We want that one wallet.
Yeah, I was like, why are they only going for her wallet? Like, there must be cash around the house.
Was so stupid. They're
like, where is your wallet?
And then, so then he was like, okay, we're going to like rob the place or whatever. You guys are so rich and privileged. You guys walking around. We're going to take all your shit.
I was waiting for Archie to pop off. I was waiting.
So I know that you love this episode, but this is the one part of the episode that I was like rolling my eyes just a touch. Because I was just like, it just felt like this is not what would happen. If five guys came to a house. I actually
disagree though. Like, the way that it was set up was very realistic. Like, if you notice when they were, I forgot to mention this before, when they were at that shop and they were walking out, like Betty and V were walking out,
right?
Everyone was looking at them, like from the store. I was like, why are they staring? I'm like, oh, okay, they're gonna come and like probably like do something to them.
Sure,
because it makes sense, right? Like, there's new people in town.
I get the whole idea of them coming and robbing them. The way they robbed them was like bullshit to me. Like, I thought it was.
You could even tell like the robbers were amateur. Like the robbers didn't even know what they were doing, right? So like that, like we just laughed about it. Like, you're asking for one wallet. You're in a multi-million-dollar lodge and you're asking for one wallet from one of the rich girls. Like, you didn't. They should have said like,
else.
Is there a safe here? And then like she could have gone to the bedroom. Like, it was kind of dumb how like he just went for one wallet.
So he like goes up to the one wallet. She goes upstairs. She's like, "Don't worry, I got this." Wink. And then she like goes upstairs. And then she's like, "Why are you doing this? I know that you're the guy from the place." Like, those are the parts that I kind of thought were like really annoying. That like, if you were getting literally like held up, you wouldn't be like, I know who you are, because the point of wearing a mask is so you don't identify them when they run away and they don't get caught ever. If you find out what they look like in every horror movie, as soon as the killer takes off the mask, they kill you. Like, that's the whole gag. So for her to be like, I know who you are, and he like doesn't like kill her, like, that's the part that I was like, okay, that's not how it would all run down. If there weren't those like little moments, I would have been like, this is a perfect moment. But
I didn't mind.
I'm just really judgmental.
So basically, anyway, like in that moment, she presses the panic button like behind the night table,
and then she gives him
like,
the wallet.
Whatever, yeah. And
like that's the thing. Downstairs. Like she's like, my purse is over there. Like just take the whole purse. Like just grab the purse and then go back downstairs.
It did sound funky.
And then there goes your entire plan, Veronica. Then when are you gonna call the panic button, huh? Like that's what I mean. Like it was all just perfectly like laid out, so like the situation would be solved the way it was gonna be solved. So she presses the panic button. They go back downstairs, and the phone rings like crazy.
So wait, no, right before that though, they get the wallet. The guy's like, "Okay, let's dip. Like we got what we wanted." Right. But then he's like, "No, I want something else." He's like, "Everybody get on your knees." What did he mean?
He wanted to smash the place up. I think he was just like, I just want to. He's like, I want to show like what's good up in this place. But like, that's the thing. It was so confusing to me because I'm like, what does he want? Like everybody's like, okay, let's go. Like we got the one wallet. We should leave now. Yeah. So then.
And then right then, like the phone goes off.
The phone goes off, and like Archie's having like a panic attack because he's like traumatized from like the Black Hood doing the same thing to him, where he's like, get on your knees and holding a gun to his head. So he's starting to glitch out a little bit too. Like Archie's like freaking out a little bit. And so then the phone rings, and then they're like, who's that? And Veronica, like I said, once again, like has to lay it all down. She can't just be like, I don't know what's going on. She was like, the security's gonna be here in like 2 seconds, so you better
She's
run.
like, that was my panic button in my bedroom on the night table, and it's connected to an alarm system, and now the alarm system is coming, and they've been warned in 2 minutes they're gonna come, they're gonna shoot you to
That's
kill.
What I'm trying to say. Like, did you have
and
to
you
give,
will be dead.
Did you have to give all of
she
that?
She gave the whole summary.
He's like, by that point, he's like done. He's just like,
he's like, okay, then I should leave then.
Yeah. So then he like, right before he leaves, he like yanks her like locket off her neck, the one that Archie gave her, and then he like runs.
Okay.
Ooh, I just booked something.
Me
anyway,
too.
We'll talk about it at the end. We'll talk about it at the
end.
Yeah. So then anyway, the locket's there, and then
true.
And then Archie, like right after, Archie runs after the guy, and everybody's like, don't do it. And then they like let him run. So then he runs. He catches him, the guy, and then he pulls the hood on. Sure enough, it is that guy Cassidy.
Yeah.
And then Andre comes out of the woodwork, literally, and he's like, don't worry, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, thanks, bye. And
Archie's like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to him?
He doesn't even say that. He's just like, okay, cool. And then he like walks away, and then all you hear is a gunshot.
Yeah.
And I wrote down, Andre really isn't good at his job. Why did you shoot that guy? Like, you just blew his brains out because he stole a necklace and he didn't kill anybody. Like, I don't think that's the way.
Yeah, it's just more like dramatic, you know?
But like, if I were Andre, I would have like caught him, picked him up, and like been like, where's everybody else? Tell me who everyone else is. Like, dude, how did you just like pop this guy off and like be done with it? Anyway, I thought that was really stupid too. But anyway, so he shoots him, and then Archie just like dips, but he hears the gunshot.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Pop's Diner, and then like everybody's in Pop's Diner now. Everyone's there. So it shows the McCoy and Keller family, and they're like holding hands and like, let's get through this together. We got to figure this all out. Yeah. And everyone's just like being so fucking cute. And then Cheryl and Tony are having like have a moment too. They're having their milkshakes, and Cheryl basically fully tells like a full secret, and she like links it to Love, Simon, now in theaters, and she basically like says like,
I can't believe that's a real thing.
She's like, I felt so bad when he said that he was like holding the secret, and like he wasn't being himself. And Cheryl's like,
she's like, I used to be a happy kid.
Yeah, she's like, everyone thinks that I'm this like loveless.
Yeah, like somewhere along the way, like I just like was hiding in the shadows or something.
Yeah. And then she's like, everyone thinks that I'm like this loveless monster, but like I loved someone and someone loved me.
Yeah.
And then
like right away I was like, she's not talking about Jason. There's
100%. I know. Yeah. And as soon as Tony said it, I was like, oh, they're just like plugging this line in.
Yeah.
So then Tony's like, you're talking about your brother, Jason.
Like, you loved him, right? She's like, no, someone else.
And then like she had to say like, I loved her. And this girl named Heather, I guess. and she basically tells the whole story.
Tony's eyes like literally like lit up. She's like, oh,
she's like checking in.
But it was such a cute story, guys, and it was just like very, very surprising because we've never heard this story ever. I don't think we've even. I mean, I guess we've sort of had signs that maybe she could be into girls because of the whole Josie thing. But I just assumed that like that was just like her friend, like that she was obsessed with, right? Yeah.
I mean, I kind of see it. I definitely see it happening because I feel like with Cheryl, she just like loves love. And then like, I think that's what it is. Like, I think it doesn't really matter who she's with. She just wants to like be loved and love people. Right. So like,
but in terms of like that, like, okay, now she's into girls. We just didn't really think that was going to go there, like, right?
If we're talking about whether or not I think she's a lesbian, I think she's a bisexual. I think she just like loves everything.
Oh, okay.
She just like loves love. Like I said, she loves to be in relationships. She loves to have that kind of emotion with her.
She just wants a partner. She wants to feel like that. Yeah.
And I'm glad they made her character that way because I think that like when you think about Cheryl Blossom, like you really do think of like this person who just like is fiery and passionate and like loves everything and she's like sassy. Like when you think about her as a comic book character, I think I definitely see her like being this like
it's true
totally,
and I
like,
think
lovey person.
And it might sound bad, but I think it just makes her so much more interesting in the sense that like
100%.
She's just. You're right. Like she's not really chasing. Oh, I want like the jock with like this hair. Right. Like she is chasing love.
She's
chasing to find a partner, to like find her best friend. Like that's what she's looking for. And
I
it's
love
so
that.
cute.
I love
like
that.
It's honestly so cute.
And like
because she lost her twin. Like Yeah.
And like that's the moment that like you see Tony kind of holding her hand, and I was like, damn, this is such a beautiful like show.
It was like. Yeah, it was
very nice,
you know,
to see that.
And you have to say, like, emotionally, I feel like their connection is stronger than like Archie and Veronica almost. Like, they've never had a scene like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, it was like a different level of like, holy, like this girl's like so sad.
Yeah, for sure.
And then maybe they're both sad and they're finding each other. You know?
Yeah, I agree. So then it cuts to. All the core four are also back home, I guess. Like they just like all landed back in Riverdale.
They were at the Pop Diner too, though. They were. Yeah. They like had like a cute like little dinner.
So they were like sitting there, and they were like, "I'm so glad that we're all okay now." And then, she like I think Veronica says something like, "Oh, like it's so good that like you know like it's too bad that you like he got away or whatever,
yeah, like
but
you
at
didn't
least we're all
catch him."
safe."
And I was like, "What?"
And Archie's like, right, he's safe.
I'm like, why do you keep lying about everything?
Like, just tell the truth.
Just tell them. What's the big deal? But then I guess he has to tell them that like he got shot, but he doesn't really. He could just say,
just tell
I got him, and I told him to like run away. Like,
so then like
wouldn't they have heard the gunshot?
That's what I was thinking too. But anyway, let's just pretend that didn't happen. So they end up having this like really cute moment that I'm going to turn into a GIF later. They all end up holding hands and, like in the middle table, like they were like Power Rangers. It was so cute. And then I cuts to Hiram and Archie, and Hiram like in the study, and it's like the overarching like voiceover is like Archie tells the truth to one person, and then he tells like Hiram basically like how Andre shot the guy, and he's like, are you okay? Like Hiram's like, are you okay? And Archie's like, yeah, but like, you know, I was like kind of traumatized because I was never able to do anything when like my dad got shot by the Black Hood, and like I froze or whatever. And Hiram says, when it comes to those you love, you never hesitate. And I was like, that's probably one of the worst things that you can probably tell Archie Andrews, because I just feel like he needs to think about the things that he does before he does them. Yeah. And like telling him that is just like not a good idea. So I'm like, next episode, Archie's going to go around shooting people. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. So anyway, I thought it was a good sentiment, but like, you shouldn't tell Archie that.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to, Jughead dropping Betty off. And I guess you telling me that he has a motorcycle and they couldn't talk about this on the way there, like, makes sense if they were on a motorcycle. But he basically, like, gets into the house and then he, like, tells Betty, like, yo, chick is weird.
Yeah, like, just be careful.
And then he's like, have a great night.
Yeah, I'm going to leave you right here.
Like, why wouldn't you say that outside of even, like, in the front lawn? Anyway, so the, like, voiceover is like, this girl, she's at home, but she was far from being safe, and like the fire's still being stoked. Like, it was just a weird sequence to end off on, and that was the end of the episode, right?
Yeah. Did we talk about the necklace?
Oh yeah, no, we didn't. So in the study, we'll rewind back to like the study with Hiram and Archie, and as he says that line, like never hesitate, he gives the locket to Archie.
Yeah.
And this is my question. We had this whole question about like what happened. Did Archie really give her that locket?
Oh yeah. So
Like,
then I guess he did give it to her, right?
Maybe, I guess he did. Like maybe that really
so then
was
he
like
did.
a real present.
Yeah. Okay.
So he gives
that
it back.
sense.
Okay, so if that's not the situation, then there's no gag.
Yeah.
Never mind. So he gets the locket back, and then, but what is he gonna do? He's not gonna be able to give it back to her. No. Because if he finds it, she's gonna be like, yo, but that was from the guy, the killer.
There must be something behind the fact that he's still gonna have it.
Yeah.
She's either gonna find it on him, and she's gonna be like, what the hell is this? There has to be a reason. Otherwise, he wouldn't have given it back to him.
And I think that's one of the parts that kind of frustrate me about this whole situation is like, I feel like all the time it's always like, here, give Archie another secret to keep from Veronica.
Yeah, it has been very much like that though. It has been.
And it's always like these small stupid things, but like I've said it from the beginning, their whole relationship is built on lies and like resolving the lies and then resolving the lies. Like, I get it. You guys have like trust issues or whatever, but like, there's going to be a breaking point obviously at some point in time, but like I'm just waiting for the real one, because at this point like you guys just keep lying to each other. Like it's not just Archie lying to her, like she lied to him about the family and like all these other things. So it's just like they're playing this whole game of like trust and not trusting and trusting. Like I don't know, I'm gonna get sick of it eventually, I feel.
Either way, it was an amazing episode. I thought it was so good. I liked it still. Like the dynamics were really funny.
Yeah.
They got to chill finally this weekend. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah, it was a good episode. I'm not saying it's not a good episode. I'm just, anyway. Let's get into our recap roundups.
Best moment. My best moment, I think, is gonna go to the hot tub scene, just because I feel like it was so hype for so long, for these 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
And I have to say, they didn't disappoint. They really came through. It was a good moment to see like Veronica and Jughead kissing. And I think right there you can see that Betty's like kind of okay with it, but Archie was definitely not okay with it. And I think that's gonna come into play like later on. So it was a good scene.
It was good. My best moment was CHONI right at the very end at Pop's Diner when she says like, you ain't loveless, girl, you are full of love.
She's like, you're sensational. Like it was so cute. It was just a really
I just love the way like I just seeing them together made me like feel really, really warm inside. So that's my best moment.
And I also think the fact that they're friends like in real life,
they're best.
Their
like,
chemistry
they're really, really close. Yeah,
you can tell. See it. Like you can feel their chemistry.
Yeah, I forgot about that, but that's true.
WTF moment. My WTF moment is that moment where Cheryl talks about Heather for the first time. Okay, someone that we really have never known about. We don't know the side of her. We don't know the stories. We not too many signs before this, so it was kind of shocking, but like I loved it all. So it was a really good moment too.
My WTF moment goes to Andre shooting the robber, because I was just like, that was so excessive.
Yeah, it definitely. Like I knew it was coming, but it was extra still. Yeah. I was like, okay, you didn't have to.
Yeah, like you didn't have to do that in that moment. Like, please.
MVP. My MVP is gonna go to two people, and that's Kevin and Josie, because I think they were so cute together. Dealing with their parents' issues and their affair, and I honestly think that they dealt with it like adults, whereas their parents were like hornified teenagers that like couldn't like see clearly.
They're like glitching out, and like secret lies.
They honestly, Kevin and Josie came to terms with it at the end. I was like, you guys are so mature. I love you guys. Loved it.
Yeah, agreed. My MVP is Tony, because I just feel like she was relentless with Cheryl and saw that this girl was in distress, and she like came through for her. Like Tony, like it's so funny to see this character who like everybody hated because they thought that she was gonna break up Bughead, and now she's like her own character, and she's cool, and she's like coming through for Cheryl.
Like cheers to the secondary cast group. Seriously. I have to say, like just look at our MVPs. They're all secondary cast. Like that just shows you though, like you give them that opportunity to have a storyline, to have the story arc. Like they come through and you want to root for them. Like it's not just about the core four anymore.
Yeah, and it's a funny thing that you mentioned that, because if you really think about the core four, they were all so crazy this episode that it's just like, okay, let's focus on these like these secondary characters. Like, we wanted to see them.
You know what it does? It makes the world feel more real.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about these 4 people who have all these intersecting storylines. It's about going to the movies with like Moose and Midge. Like, it just creates this really cool setup of the entire Riverdale world.
Agreed.
And it makes everything else just feel more real.
Yeah.
So, loved it.
Love that.
LVP.
Okay, so what I didn't love, who I didn't love, I don't know, it was hard, but I'm gonna say Moose.
Yeah.
Just because it was kind of shocking that in the beginning I was like, wow, he's coming through. Yeah. He told Midge about him and Kevin, and then it was like, yo, you didn't even tell her anything.
It's like, you want to be my side dick? What?
Yeah, like you're still living in so much secrecy. So I'm like, you're not cool. Slash, you almost died. Like, you would think that like this guy would be like, YOLO, let me just like live my life. No.
So true. Like, if anybody needs to like work on his story, it's Moose, because like,
and I keep forgetting that like they literally almost died. Like, they got like pump shotgunned like in the chest in a car. I'm like, holy shit, like they went through a lot.
Yeah, so definitely LVP. My LVP is going to go back to Andre. I know it's kind of stupid, but I really didn't think that he did a good job like being a bodyguard. He wasn't sleuthy at all, and he didn't have to kill that guy. Like, I just think that he was so extra this episode. Like, what are you doing here?
The best line. I have a few. This episode, again, like I said, the writing was on friggin' point.
Right.
But the one I think that really like was the most maybe emotional one was when Cheryl was like, when Tony was like, are you okay, whatever, and she's like, I'm alone at the movies, I'm trying to stay away from my mother who has turned our house into a sexual playpen. I was like, oh my god, she literally just described her whole life in like a sentence. And I think just her saying that was like the beginning of Cheryl turning a corner, because she's okay with admitting that she's got these issues and like she's really messed up and her life is shit right now. That's the beginning of like a new like life for her, you know. It was really cute.
She's like recognizing,
and her acting was on point in that scene too. I was like, I felt like every like tear that
very
was coming
raw
out.
Very raw moments.
Yeah, for sure.
My best line is when Jughead talks to Archie about like their whole full dynamic, and it's literally word for word, I'm your best guy friend and Betty is your best girlfriend, so your best friends are dating, but B and V are also best friends, so your best friend's girlfriend is also your girlfriend's best friend. You see what I'm trying to say? It's amazing how we're all so close.
It's
and I
crazy.
Was like, it is crazy. Like,
so
when
good.
you really
when
you do lay it all down, I was like, this is such a good like written like sequence.
Yes,
and of course it would only come from Jughead. And like you said when we were recapping it, like Archie was like, like he was just,
you lost me at the beginning.
Yeah, he just like he couldn't figure it out. But yeah, I thought it was really cute to see them kind of like lay it all down and be like, yeah, this is our dynamic and we're all really amazing together. So that's the episode, guys.
That's it. That was a long one.
Before we finish up, I want to remind you guys that we did restart our PopSocket giveaway, and we're gonna release the winner of that right before the end of this season. I want to say like the week before, so we can just announce it, and then we're gonna send off a free Riverdale Recap Rewind themed PopSocket. So in order to enter, you have to do a couple of things. The first thing you have to do is like us and subscribe to Recap Rewind. And also, you have to answer a trivia question, and the best answer is going to win on YouTube. So you just have to go to our YouTube channel, if you are listening to this on iTunes, and write down the answer to the question. NB,
give us your best name for Betty's black wig.
We already have a few answers right now, and they're really like good. Somebody, like one of our fans, said they would call it perfect because like. Aww. Because Betty is perfect, like it's almost like a like opposite version of her, because she's like, you know, so structured in her life, that dark Betty would be like perfect.
I love that. It's like
cool
precious.
Idea, right?
Yeah. So
guys got to top that shit, because that was one of the top ones for me at least. So definitely enter. We will announce the winner by the end of the season. And yeah, once again, guys, thanks for listening. That's the end of the episode. If you liked what you had heard today, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Recap Rewind. We're on Twitter and we're on Instagram at recap_rewind. So definitely check us out there.
And
we're
please,
always
guys,
producing content.
If you're listening to us on iTunes, it really does make a big difference. So please subscribe to us on iTunes. Drop us a review. It does make a big difference for us. So if you guys like listening to us, please do that.
Let us know it. Give us the love.
And yeah, we're on YouTube and Twitter, always chatting it up. So
and always producing new content. So stay tuned in between episodes. We've been pumping out some amazing stuff. So just saying, check us out. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.